Elentila Lumenomentielvo. Welcome to Tolkien on Tap. I'm TJ. Grab a drink and enjoy. Almia. Now that we have that sorted, we will get back to our regularly scheduled program.
My God.
Okay.
Would you two like to talk more about the movies, or would you like to shift to
Can we talk about Rings of Power?
either the animated films or Rings of Power?
Hold on one moment.
Ooh, can we talk very briefly about the song that we cannot sing?
Yeah.
That is an absolute banger.
What's the song we cannot sing?
Well, because I tried to sing it last time, but where there's a whip, there's a way.
Oh,
because of copyright version. Copyright.
I think for copyright you have to be under a minute.
Okay.
Because TikTok stops you if it's over. Like they will take the sound out of your.
Okay, bye.
I love you too, George. They will take.
I love you 3.
They will. This part I'm not editing because that was adorable for all of us, but mostly for you and Jeanette. I'm sorry.
Amazing.
So TikTok will remove your sound if you're using a song that is more than a minute. So
where there's a whip.
Oh god! I don't have time.
There's a way.
Where there's a whip, there's a way. Yeah. Can we talk
there was only
about
4 seconds. Yeah.
Can we talk about the idea that based on that song, in which they specifically say, we don't want to go to war today, but the Lord of the Lash says, nay, nay, nay.
I'm doing a lot of hand motions, just to be clear for anybody listening on Spotify.
Yes, there are a lot of hand motions happening in my big general
George is
direction.
like pointing to the camera with his full hand.
With his full, really, with his full arms.
I'm sorry,
two hands, full arms. I think that's a really interesting take. Especially when you consider the fact that the orcs had life and manifested, multiplied after the manner of the children of Iluvatar, which insinuates that there are female orcs.
Yep.
So,
and that also maybe a baby orc being seen nurtured by his mother in Rings of Power was maybe not an abomination.
I love that we tied the animated films to Rings of Power.
It's just an interesting concept to me, because so on my Twitch stream this week, my best friend Gray and I were talking about 5 questions we would ask Professor Tolkien if we could cast Speak with Dead on Tolkien's body. Which, for those of you who don't know what Speak with Dead is, in Dungeons and Dragons, Speak with Dead is a spell that allows you to ask 5 questions of any corpse, and they will answer. And
did they use that in the movie?
It is in Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves.
It
is one of the funniest bits in the whole movie.
That part.
And is so fucking accurate.
God,
as someone who is basically a forever DM, and I have run so many games in which shenanigans have ensued, the way that Speak with Dead is portrayed in Honor Among Thieves is textbook D&D. So if you've never played D&D, the ridiculous things that happen are actually very accurate to how things really happen at a D&D table.
Wait, like his face melting?
Yeah, he rolled he rolled a low roll on whatever. I don't know. I've only played a little.
Although I do have an issue of, nope, I'm not going to go down that road because we're not talking about that.
We'll save that for another podcast.
So
if you two just want to write my episodes and just come back every time, that'd be fine.
Yeah,
we'll be co-hosts. Absolutely, I'll co-host with you.
Because I would also really love to talk sometime about the One Ring system, and the One Ring is a TTRPG that is written by Free League.
Okay.
And it is a D12 system, and it's very interesting. But they also made a port for 5th edition, and I have feelings about it, but we're not going to talk about that this episode.
I wish that my level of nerdery could compete with yours, and it can't, and I'm so sorry.
It can, and it does. Don't even worry.
Can we
But
start
anyway,
a D&D table over Skype? I'm old. Zoom,
you have no
Zoom.
idea how desperately I would love to run a game for y'all. Like, because
I would
so
tried.
badly want to play D&D
Jeanette on
again,
board,
by the
too.
way.
Okay. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna take this offline to use a fun little remote work phrase. We're gonna take this offline. We're gonna figure this out because I really want
we're just
this to
using
happen.
jargon from the biz.
We're just using jargon from the biz. Anyway, so basically we were talking about what questions we would ask Professor Tolkien if we could cast Speak with Dead on him.
Mm-hmm.
And fuck, I can't remember where I was going with this. Someone jog my memory. Orcs. Yes. Okay.
Oh, baby orcs.
Okay. So one of the questions that I would ask is, because in Return of the King and the appendices, it is kind of like sort of insinuated that when the ring was destroyed and thus the will of Sauron was no longer influencing the orcs, the will of Sauron and sort of by extension the will of Morgoth was influencing the orcs. They were basically like beasts. I don't remember the exact passage. Someone could look it up and correct me on this potentially. But effectively, like, it's kind of loosely insinuated that they like didn't have free will.
In which in the Return of the King?
I feel like it. I could be wrong. It's been.
That'd be interesting because in the Return of the King, Sam overhears orcs talking about how it's the big bosses that want them to fight, and they just want to find their own little.
They want to go retire and start a thing together. Yeah.
But I would just be really curious to know, like, with especially post Dagor-Dagorath.
If you believe it.
If you believe in Dagor-Dagorath.
That's the battle to end all battles, right?
The battle to end all battles.
The battle of battles.
The battle of battles, literally.
Which never made it anything fully published, but is mentioned in history.
Christopher said he regretted not putting it in Silmarillion.
Yeah. Okay. But regardless.
But there's also afterbirth,
I would just,
which is another way that the world could end. It just ends with no giant battle. Jen, it's a drink, not a chug. You don't have to chug.
I didn't chug. I was so there's a bunch. So I used frozen fruit as ice.
Yes, I was just thinking. I wish I'd done that on mine.
And so there's a bunch
of done that.
Now mostly thawed fruit in my glass, and I don't know what to do with it because it's also very boozy fruit, which I'll probably just eat it. But anyway.
It's not pleasant.
I just really want to know. Like, I would try to figure out the most open-ended way to be like, yo, what's the deal with the orcs? Like, post Dagor-Dagorath.
He didn't even know.
Post ring destruction, like, what happens to them?
Well,
if you did clearly say in your notes that Christopher compiled and did an excellent job compiling, if I do say so myself, but I just want to know. No. Like, he had an absolutely insurmountable task.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And he crushed it. An
absolute blank check from Tolkien, which is not mentioned enough. People are like, oh, Christopher Tolkien was like J.R.R. Tolkien in his will was like, he can add or remove anything he wants. Like, Christopher Tolkien had the right to burn,
including destroying it all.
Yeah, he could have burned everything. And even said,
I just want to know. I just want
canon. It's just the Hobbit.
I want clarity on the orcs specifically.
So did Tolkien.
I was gonna say so did Tolkien. Like, but to the end of his days, he could not come up with something that appeased himself.
So,
which is why I love Adar in the Rings of Power.
Go ahead. He's had 50 years in the afterlife, if that's something you believe in. I'm on the fence about it. I like to imagine that, it's real, because I like to imagine a universe in which I get to meet Professor Tolkien.
And Eru, even though Eru doesn't give a shit about us. That's a different podcast.
Anyway, I feel like he's probably had enough time to ponder and think about. Maybe get some clarity on the orcs, because I just want to know. I also really want to know, where the fuck did Tulkas come from?
Oh, Tulkas?
How can you just fucking drop from far heaven and then never expound on that ever
I
again?
kind of love when Tolkien does that shit.
I don't.
I always thought he came from the same place as the other Valar.
No, because he's not one of the Ainur.
He is one of the Ainur.
He's not one
No,
of the Ainur?
he's not. Tulkas is not one of the Ainur. I will pull up the passage from the fucking...
That's my Irish edition of The Hobbit. Sorry, wrong thing.
So here's my aside that I was starting before from being an old person. Is growing up, I had my mother's, who we drank to quite a bit on the Lion Last podcast there.
Yep, yes, we did.
I had her copies of The Lord of the Rings and her copy of the Silmaril. And this is the early to mid 90s. So like the internet technically exists as a thing, but not as you don't pull it up and be like, I wonder if there's more information. So as far as I knew, like I didn't find out about the history of Middle Earth existing as a published book until, I don't know, probably 10 years ago. I was like,
same though.
No, 15 years ago, because I
didn't know it was
around
the thing
same
until
time
the three volume set came out.
my mom got me for my birthday, probably, I don't know, 2011, The Children of Turin. And I was like,
I remember
just come
specifically
out.
when Children of Húrin was published.
Yeah,
and that was the
2007,
first.
I think,
Children of Húrin was the first Tolkien book that I ever had that was like my own Tolkien book. That wasn't like the family's copy. I have now since claimed the family's copies. For
honestly, I said wow, but honestly, that's also true for me, because I realized as I was doing all this stuff and prepping.
I want to say it was 2007.
2007 is when that book came out. Yeah, I got it in probably 2009. But yeah, I didn't know that there was anything published other than Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, and the Silmarillion.
Children of Húrin was like my entryway to like the rest of the Legendarium, because
oh, that's cool.
I remember being so excited about like, oh, new Tolkien, and then I was like, wait, there's more? What? But anyway,
so I've never read any of most of. I mean, obviously, I spend an absurd amount of time online, especially when it's slow at work. Looking at stuff. So like I've consumed most of the other information.
Yeah.
But I've never read anything except for The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, and the Silmarillion.
And now the Silmarillion.
And now the
I have my Silmarillion as well.
Nice.
We have the same one, Jen?
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that.
What page
that
is
chapter 1 of the Quentin Silmarillion.
Okay, so I go all the way
page
back
35.
Hold on. I am reading the end. I'm reading the index. The first thing it says is Vala. He's a Valar.
He is a Valar. He is not one of the Ainur.
You have to. I can't see that, George.
It's not working. Oh, it's not working at all.
No.
Anyway,
to be a Vala, you have to be one of the Ainur.
No.
So page.
No,
okay, hold on. Page 35.
Page 35.
Okay.
In the midst.
Footnote 133.
In the midst of the war.
Footnote 33. Damn it, George.
In the midst of the war, a spirit of great strength and hardihood.
Wait. Where are you
Hardihood?
on page 35?
At the very first paragraph, midway through the first paragraph.
Midway through the first. Okay.
In the midst of the war, a spirit of great strength and hardihood came to the aid of the Valar, hearing in the far heaven that there was battle in the little kingdom, and Arda was filled with the sound of his laughter. So came Tulkas the Strong, whose anger passes like a mighty wind, scattering cloud and darkness before it. And Melkor fled before his wrath and his laughter, and forsook Arda, and there was peace for a long age. And Tulkas remained and became one of the Valar of the kingdom of Arda. Tulkas was not one of the Ainur.
Well, but
I want to know where he fucking came from. Tell me. Tell me, Tolkien.
So we'll go back to the Valaquenta then.
Yeah, I was gonna say because that doesn't answer that specifically. Like, to me, because it doesn't say he's not an Ainur.
In the
He just says it
Valaquenta,
came
Yeah, it doesn't
later.
say he's not one of the Ainur. It says he became one of the Valar. Is he a
became
very strong Maya who
could
was
be,
who
but that doesn't
was
Or
mean he's
was
one of
he
the
an
Ainur.
Einar
no
and
no
we're
no
just
the
still
the
missing?
Maya are also Ainur.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. If you're Maya, you're Ainur.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
Ainu as well. Because in the beginning, Eru, the one who is the in the Elvish tongue is named Iluvatar, made the Ainur in his thought, and they made a great music before him. In this music, the world was made. Blah 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, where's far
Then those
heaven?
of the Ainur who desired it arose and entered into the world at the beginning of time, which means Tulkas did not desire to go down
Yeah. That's how I've always
to
interpreted it.
Arda until he saw Melkor and was like, I can kick that motherfucker's ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, and I interpreted it a completely different way because I interpreted that he was from somewhere else.
Oh, you're doing it like
what is far heaven? What
See,
is far heaven?
yeah,
I
that
just
is a
have
very
always read
interesting
Far Heaven
phrasing
as
of
just like
that.
Because
the
You're
same
doing
thing.
it's sort of in my interpretation, and this is one of those, just interpretation, schminterpretation, is that the Ainur, like the holy ones,
Mhm.
like are specifically like as we get into the Valaquenta, like are like I mean, I guess it does say the great among these spirits,
Mhm.
elves named the Valar. But like
Mhm.
my interpretation was always that the Ainur became the Valar
So
because, like, I
also
don't know,
in
because
that
I don't know, but basically Tulkas was from somewhere else, and I want to know where that was.
it seems like he
Yeah, I've
was
always
one of the
interpreted as
Ainur because it seems like the
yeah,
Ainur were all the children of Iluvatar's thought
yeah. That's
Mm.
how I've always interpreted.
that were before Arda.
All right,
And
I'm gonna step out
Tulkas
into
just
my
was
hobbit
one of
hole.
what's that?
I'll be right
Hobbit
back.
hole, step
Going
in.
to my hobbit hole.
Oh, okay. Um it seems like Tulkas was one of the Ainur who just did not care to go down to Middle Earth until he saw
Okay,
Melkor fucking around and was like,
that's
I'm
fair. But
strong.
he
I can
was
go fuck
not
that guy.
originally one of the Valar, and he
You're correct.
became
He
one of
was
the
not.
Valar.
But he also is mentioned. Yes, he became one of the Valar. Yes. Because he does get his own chapter in of the Valar, but like you pointed out, became one of the Valar.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's what I want to know.
yeah,
I
I'm
want to
gonna read.
know where he came from. Where is Far
He
Heaven?
came last to Arda to aid the Valar in the first battles with Melkor. He delights in wrestling and in contests of
He's
strength.
not
He
good
rides
counsel.
no steed, for
He's
he
a good friend,
can outrun
but
all
don't listen to
things.
his advice.
Beer Golden.
Sounds like a few people I know.
Yes, he doesn't give us any more information except for the
Yeah.
passage you read gives
Mhm.
us probably the most information about what he was up to
So yeah,
beforehand.
where
Like
is Far Heaven?
he's just vibing with Eru
Yeah.
until Melkor starts fucking shit up even more in Arda. Because like I can
Yeah.
imagine like when the Discord is going on, he's just like this fucking asshole, whatever. And then like he was getting really irritated, and then finally Arda is created. And he's like, cool,
Mhm.
let that dickhead go down there and do what he's gonna do. And then like Melkor's fucking around down in Arda, and Tulkas looks down and he goes, "Oh, this guy thinks he's strong, huh?"
Yeah.
He goes all
I
fucking crazy and goes down.
in the book club we
Fist
definitely talked
first.
about Tulkas having like big Thor vibes.
Yes. Yeah. He's
Like,
Oh
very,
yeah,
very
totally
Thor.
agree.
yeah. Like yeah. Anyway,
All right, so let's get
I'm
back to
trying
the.
really hard to get back to things. But
No, I was just gonna.
what I got on this subject because I was talking about like the orcs.
Yeah.
And I want to like
No, this
because
is.
I really appreciated in Rings of Power when they specifically showed an orc
Yes.
wife and an orc baby.
Yeah.
I also really appreciated how they showed Glug like questioning Adar because
Yeah.
of the like Adar's like obsession with Sauron.
Can I show my cards?
Yeah.
Your
Of
what?
course.
I said, can I show my cards, George?
Yes, of course.
I loved the people who just want evil to be evil, who don't understand that there's nuance in the world, that got
Tolkien
fucking
specifically
stoned.
said there's
Yes.
no such thing as pure true evil.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Like not even
Nothing is evil to begin with.
not
Yeah.
even Melkor himself
It was irredeemable.
was irredeemable.
I love it's one of my favorite things about Rings of Power is it like mostly stands on its own, but it also sometimes seems like a direct rebuke to
Mhm.
what was missing from the Peter Jackson thing.
Yeah.
Because like what are the main themes of Tolkien that are completely missing from Peter Jackson? The endurance of evil,
Yeah.
the actions of like oh what's the word we used earlier? Like how the Council of Elrond is just people showing up. What's the
Serendipity.
Serendipity.
Yeah, the use of like serendipity and Eru's will,
Mhm.
and oh, what's the other one?
Hashtag Arrow's plan.
Yeah.
Hashtag Pippin is arrow.
Hashtag Tom Bombadil is Arrow.
Oh no. Tolkien himself said he's not.
Did he though?
Yes, he did.
I
Would you
mean, he
like me to-
literally did,
Oh,
but I also
he
I'm a
did.
little bit. I'm on both
I
of
know
your
he
sides.
did, but I'm just like did he though? Really?
Oh, you like the headcanon that like Tolkien was just fucking with us?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit.
We could go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, I cannot remember what the third one is. No, I'm trying to think about it. Because
Sorry
I've
to
said
derail
two,
you.
and then I keep forgetting. But what is it?
Welcome to the podcast where we
Like-
drink and derail each other.
Yeah. So it's like the war at home and the like Arrow's use of serendipity. What is the other one? Oh, I don't think it's in my usual use. I feel like I made it, but also like the significance of like prophecy and oaths and curses.
Mhm.
Those are three things. There's another one I'm forgetting, but those are three things that are huge to Tolkien that play no significance whatsoever in the Peter Jackson films. And then like
I think
20
I
minutes
mean
into Rings of Power, we are
I would slightly disagree with that though.
with which
I would
part?
only disagree with the oath part.
The oath part, because in Fellowship, like Elrond specifically says, like you are under no oaths.
You're under no oath. Yeah, it's true. It winks at
And
it.
he really like, I mean, I will say one of as in in the year of Eru 2025.
Thank you so much. I do the same thing. I'm so glad someone else does that instead of saying the year of our Lord. Thank you. Sorry. Continue.
Like I really think that and I can attribute a lot of this to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I think that when the Lord of the Rings films were being made, the concept of like the Easter egg was not really like a thing.
Yeah.
And I wish like and this is not me saying, "Oh, I want a remake," because I am on the fence about a remake. But
I want a remake.
I would love
I
to
want Rings of
see
Power to continue for 100 seasons. Just stay in real time.
same, though. Oh God. But also,
Anyway,
I
continue.
would love to see like Lord of the Rings made with the prevalence of Easter eggs that exist in films today.
Yeah.
Like
there's a
we
decent
don't
number.
need to have the dead pledging allegiance to Aragorn at the Stone of Erech, but put a big black round rock in the background of the Paths of the Dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. That's all it is. And the fans are like, Leonardo DiCaprio, point at the screen and snap.
Yeah.
But people who aren't paying
can't snap.
attention, I can't either. But people who don't know won't notice. And the people who do know will be like, fuck yes, they put the Stone of Erech in the movies.
Yeah.
And that, I think that is ultimately like, it's not a really, I can't even call it a gripe, but that is like my one wish is that I wish, especially with the intense attention to detail that they put into those films, I wish that they had done a little bit more to, like, not necessarily wink and nod at the fans, because I think it was specifically Peter who said, like, oh, we don't want to break the fourth wall in this movie. And yet, you know, we have Orlando Bloom staring directly at the camera with a smug look on his face when Haldir and the elves show up, which shout out to my man Orlando. I love it. I'll love you forever for it. But
let me just also real quick just say the elves at Helm's Deep is the fucking stupidest thing besides Samwise being sent away by Frodo gone.
Here's my hot take. Well, I can't remember what
I don't want to derail Jen's
I have very mixed feelings about it. But
that's exactly right. I am totally indifferent to the elves at Helm's Deep.
Oh, I'm not at all.
The thing is, I'm not indifferent. I'm just on the fence because I agree wholeheartedly with both sides.
Yeah, that's really probably
simultaneously. It's like this weird juxtaposition. I'm weird Schrodinger's elves at Helm's Deep.
Because they're there and then they're not.
But
I like at the end of that battle.
So are the films. Yeah.
I just
after
wish
the fall of the Hornburg, the elves are gone.
They're gone.
The movie agrees with you.
They're just gone.
You're right, George.
They disappear.
Yeah, they just disappear. After Haldir dies, and there's no more elves.
You don't see another elf there again.
Nope.
Is Haldir all the elves in one? Is he the hive mind of the elves?
Are the elves the Borg?
That's the hot take right there. The elves are the Borg.
But okay, real quick. I don't mean to derail you, Jen.
But no, all I'm trying to say is I just wish there could be more like little winks and nods at the fans.
Yeah.
With like things like a big black round rock in the background of the Paths of the Dead. When even in the background of the scene
also,
when the King of the Dead appears and says, "We fight." Like, just to have a black rock in the background.
Yeah. I just need you to know that I will be finding screenshots of that and adding in gigantic black rocks.
Just a black rock. Also, can I have a pet peeve, because I feel like I need to redeem myself for my defense of the movie Faramir so that scene, I have no problem with like the removal of the Grey Company or whatever the hell it's called or whatever.
I have lots of problems with it.
No, I mean I've got some beef, but I understand basically. But like my biggest beef,
I don't understand.
Like basically, Aragorn comes in and like pleads his case that he has the right for them to fight, and then they try and kill them with a giant pile of skulls, and then after they manage to survive, then
Peter Jackson
Peter
Jacksoning.
Yeah. What is that?
The Peter Jackson doobie Peter Jacksoning, which is one of my biggest complaints about the Hobbit movies, which I know controversial. I love the Hobbit movies.
I have gained a deep love for them.
Oh,
I did not like them.
I adore them.
I did not like them on first go round.
I have to go throw up on an unrelated note.
I'm sorry.
Here's where I'm at.
Like what you like, guys. I'm just kidding.
When I first
don't yuck my yum, TJ.
When I first saw the Hobbit movies, I hated them for exactly the reason that most people hated them. But as I've gotten older and rewatched them, here's what I hate about them.
I loved them from the beginning.
Exclusively. The only thing I hate, I mean, there's different choices I would make and things I don't like.
Same, I have gripes.
The only thing I hate about the Hobbit movies is sort of like the roller coaster use of danger, especially in the first two. That like every single freaking moment, everybody's about to die, but nobody ever does. They're going up.
I feel like most of my issues with the Hobbit movies could be attributed to the fact that once Peter Jackson had won multiple Academy Awards and had been knighted, no one was there to say, Peter, no.
This is a terrible idea.
Oh, Peter, you mean the George Lucas effect?
Yeah, Peter, exactly. Excuse me.
Like there was in Lord of the Rings, because certain things that Peter did, I agree with. Certain other things Peter wanted to do that I'm like, no, Peter. But no one was there in the Hobbit movies to say,
Yeah.
no, Peter.
Listen,
Or no one was willing to, at least.
I have grown to like the Hobbit movies in broad strokes. I will
and that's a
also
sentence that we
always,
shouldn't have to say.
yeah, I will always be a little bit sad that we never got what was originally announced, which was a duology of
By
Hobbit
Guillermo
movies,
del Toro.
of weird little Hobbit movies directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Oh, see, and
That's
don't get me wrong. I love GDT. I think he is a fantastic director. I think the things that were in The Hobbit that I don't like are GDT vestiges.
oh interesting because
Such
he is
as?
credited as a writer on that movie. So
The more like gory horror-y bits. Particularly the goblins in Goblin Town, which I also attribute to Peter Jackson being sort of body horror-ish. I mean, you look at Meet the Feebles and Frighteners and all that shit. Like,
Frighteners is an amazing movie, though.
I'm not saying it's not. It's not for me.
Fair.
It's not for me. But I think this is a hill I will die on. I will die on this hill.
Please don't. But go on.
The Hobbit is my all-time favorite book ever. I have read it probably upwards of 45 times. I think The Hobbit is too much for 2 movies and not enough for 3.
Yes.
And I don't know what the happy medium is.
I agree with that.
I know what it is.
I feel like
a fucking TV show.
A fucking TV show. Yes.
That's the answer to most book adaptation problems.
Honestly, it is. Because you can do chapter by fucking chapter.
Yeah. Well, here's my initial thought, and also my joke, and also most sincere desire is that honestly, the Peter Jackson trilogy is perfect if you take every single action sequence
out,
cut it in half, minimum. Cut it.
But
in half.
I do love.
That's actually not a bad idea, George.
Bomber Barrel is so fun.
I'm fine with that. But here's what I really want, what I deeply most want as my person.
TJ doesn't like
Here's
Bomber
what I
Barrel.
deeply most want as a person. So like much has been written, and a lot of people know that like after the success of the Lord of the Rings, Tolkien tried to go back and like rewrite The Hobbit in the same tone. But that is not what I want. I'll tell you what I want.
To an extent.
What I want, what I miss deeply and what I love deeply, and what I was screaming about when Jen said she liked The Hobbit, is the narrator from The Hobbit. What I want is every single
little aside
damn bit of the legendarium given to me by the narrator from The Hobbit. I want. And then Eluthingle, who was not prone to take good advice, chose to do this. Like, the narrator on The Hobbit is so sassy. Like,
George,
it is not a good idea to make plans without making plans for a dragon.
George,
you got to drink, George.
Drink, buddy.
I'm out of booze. I got to pause here in a second.
Good Lord, man. You have a drinking problem.
Yes, I don't have enough booze for this podcast.
I warned you this one was going to be long.
I know.
I don't know if I can speak clearly.
I've refilled a couple times. I got to add some
I've
more.
had about a half a gallon of wine.
I know. Listen, my favorite part of this
quite a bit as
will be like,
well, I'm gone. Where'd I go? There it is.
Oh,
I love
Jesus.
the gallon
I just disappeared. Watch. I have the one ring. Wait, how did it happen?
Make more here in a second.
I don't understand how cameras work.
But I think
yeah, I know, right?
I think the narrator
I have the one ring.
The narrator is also one of the reasons why The Hobbit is as short as it is and why the movies had to be longer.
Yes.
Because the narrator allows the story and the narrative to skip over bits that you can't simply skip over in a visual format.
Agreed. And there's one other thing to add to that as well. I completely agree with that. The other thing that like both plays into the choices that Peter Jackson made in the Lord of the Rings trilogy and also with the Hobbit trilogy is that the books are The Hobbit, and then The Lord of the Rings is a sequel to that.
This is exactly what I was gonna say, George.
Whereas the movies, because of some weird right issues, Peter Jackson originally wanted to do everything, but there were some complicated rights issues to the Hobbits, is why he made a trilogy of The Lord of the Rings.
Let me read. Let me read.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, and then I'll continue.
From the foreword of our dearly beloved Middle Earth from Script to Screen.
I just real quick before we read this,
the textbook
before we read this
textbook.
Jen literally said, "Oh, hold on, I need to get this book in case we need to reference this gigantic fucking book."
It's a fucking textbook. In the foreword, our first idea back in 1997 was to make The Hobbit as a single film, and if that was successful, we'd follow up with The Lord of the Rings as 2 films. They wanted to tell The Hobbit
first.
Which
is what Tolkien expected as well, to be fair. Go ahead.
But that's just like, they wanted to make The Hobbit first. And also, shout out to my man, Bob Shea at New Line for being like, this is 3 films. Thank that was a fucking
great call. That is
Einur for that. Because god damn, can you imagine? Okay, gonna totally derail for a second here.
Bring it.
Please do.
So if we're talking adaptations, we got to talk about the Lord of the Rings musical.
I don't know anything about this. I'm so excited for you to talk about it.
Fantastic. I just
learned that it's been around for like 20 fucking years.
It originally aired on the West End in 2009 or 8.
Something like that.
And then it had a brief
Jen's
run.
The one who told me this, by the way.
It's
the second time I'm hearing it.
It had a brief run in London, and then it had a brief run in Toronto, and then it got brought back in 2024 in Chicago, which is where I went and saw it. Yes.
Wait,
and
it got brought. I feel like it was at the Shakespeare.
I know, George.
Theater.
You and I like.
It was at the Shakespeare Theater. It was at the Shakespeare Theater.
George, you want to hear something even more fucked up? My younger cousin Katie, is friends with someone who fucking directly knew the person who played Gollum.
Who was fabulous,
tangentially, I could have met Gollum.
I didn't. I could have. I feel like I vaguely heard about it after the fact. Listen. The Shakespeare Theater is like.
Don't dox yourself, George.
You can if you want.
I mean, I guess you can if you want.
Speaking in broad
Chicago's
terms,
a big city. It's fine.
It is less than 2 miles from me.
That's okay.
I could
see, now that makes me even more sad that we didn't know each other back then, because I would have been like, hey, let's go to the show
when
together.
was back then? Because I've only been here since like 2021. But
last summer.
Oh yeah, no, I lived here then. I was looking for things to do last summer. So okay, never mind.
So okay, Lord of the Rings musical, which is fabulous. It's so campy. It's so silly. It's got freaking the elves are all from Bollywood. It's just
that's cool.
In the original version that premiered in London and in Toronto, Galadriel enters the stage on aerial silks. Like,
that is,
oh shit, that's cool as fuck.
Yeah, and the Ents were dudes on like 15-foot tall stilts. Not in the version they showed in Chicago. The Ents were just a set piece, and then they had John Lithgow voicing Treebeard, which was an experience.
Okay, set piece weird. John Lithgow, thumbs up always.
Yeah, thumbs up.
John Lithgow's phenomenal. Everything.
He was great.
Also, I'm gonna keep listening and go get more drink.
George, you just keep walking away, coming back, and walking away, coming back.
Because he's got to get his booze. He's got to keep up with.
I am old and need more booze.
Georgie boy, you got to keep it next to you like me with this gallon that I got that hides me like I have the one ring if I do it a certain way.
I do have almost a gallon of gin, but I'm not gonna drink straight gin.
This is a carafe. Nah, that's not a carafe. This jug is
there you go. Jug is the right word.
Yeah, jug. Yeah, the jug is super sticky because I had a funnel to dump it in from the crock pot. And I was talking to someone. I was on TikTok live doing it for some stupid reason, and I was like, "Oh, also," I was like almost done. I was like, "Oh, I haven't spilled a drop." I was like, "Oh shit!" Now I said it. It's gonna happen.
Now
Well, I
you
was
said
like,
it.
I've got like this much left in the fucking. Which, by the way, for everyone looking, I'm doing like when you do that, like not too big but not too small.
It's
with
not your
finger.
whole finger. It's the middle of your fingers.
Yeah, yeah.
That didn't make any sense. I'm drunk.
Hold on. It's from the fleshy part between your thumb and your forefinger to your middle knuckle
Oh,
of your
fleshy.
forefinger.
I don't like that word.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I don't know how else to describe it. Anyways, from the
It's
depression
not as
between
wide
your-
as your fingers can go, and it's not as close together as your fingers can go. It's halfway between as
Yes.
wide as your index and thumb can go, and as close together as your thumb and index finger can go. It's halfway between the two.
So I had a very little left, and I had already said I haven't spilled a drop, and I was
a
like, oh,
smidgen.
maybe I can fill this jug up, and like have my crock pot be empty. And so I poured the rest out into the funnel, forgetting that funnels have to come out of the jugs. I can hear George in the background. He's not even on camera for me right now.
I just want you to know, listeners, I'm laughing so hard. I can't. I'm not making any
Not even making
sound.
sounds. So my jug is
I'm,
very
as the kids say, ghost laughing.
as the kids say. Good God. Well, everyone, once you've hit your 30s, you are officially allowed to say, as the kids say.
Oh Christ.
Do the kids say that?
Son of a fuck, man.
Listen, I am 2 months away from my 40s, so I feel like that's the point where you get to say, I am not aware what the kids say in any way.
I am not aware of what I don't.
George, you're gonna be 40 in 2 months, you said?
April. So whatever that math is.
Bro,
Okay.
listen, Ombro. I'm trying to put bro into a Tolkien term, didn't work out.
Nolo, bro. Finway,
Brolo.
bro.
Brolo Finway.
No, bro.
God. Yes. It worked out perfectly. By the way, I'm gonna drink for that.
Love it.
I'm
Yep.
gonna drink for that
Right.
too.
Here for it.
All right, Brolo Finway. Here's what's going on. I hope David likes it, by the way, and I hope he uses it.
Oh my God, Brolo Finway is a thing. We're making it happen.
100%.
Well, and the thing is, this episode is gonna come out in like fucking months.
I was gonna say
It's gonna come out like right around
episode,
Westmoot when we're all together.
Oh my God! When it doesn't matter when this one was recorded, I will be dropping these around Westmoot.
Yes.
Oh,
as a birthday present for me.
Yes,
Thank you.
Actually, that's exactly why.
When is Westmoot? Remind? It's in May. Oh,
April.
May 9th.
I'm sorry, May 9th through the 11th.
It's a month after my birthday.
But hey, George.
Yeah.
Brolo Finway.
Brolo Finway.
When the weekend of your birthday, if I do not have my children, I want to come have a drink or two with you.
Please.
Oh, you guys! Now you're making me want to come.
Me and George and I only live like probably 45 minutes from each other.
You're not. I don't have a car, so everything's way further.
Well,
you don't need to when you live in Chicago.
I'm in the city. I am not to dox myself.
The L is my favorite public transportation system.
I am very close to the brown
try not
line.
to get on the red line too far south. Just a heads up.
Yeah.
I know.
Because
listen. I want
Chicago sucks and doesn't take care of its minority populations. So the red line is overrun with.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway.
Politics. Blah blah blah. Anyway.
I'm a baseball fan, so I know about the red line.
Well, now I gotta know.
Yep.
Which team?
Well, I mean, for me, I'm a Dodgers fan.
I mean, for me, and I'm a Cubs fan, and I'll give
between the two Cubs.
I'm sorry, listeners, I have to let George go.
Yeah. No. Listen, I've got two reasons for it.
Wait, Jen, you like the Cubs too?
Cubbies.
You've seen a picture of me.
Sorry, I went to the White Sox game last year, and so I got to be part of history. The worst team in MLB history.
Yeah, right. Here's my thing.
I don't care for sports.
So
like
you've seen a picture of me as a 10-year-old.
I'm shocked to learn that.
Yes, George. First of all,
you've seen
Jen,
a
that was
picture
a
of me,
sick ass
TJ,
burn. That was amazing.
as a
George,
10-year-old
I have
dressed as
seen the Gandalf
Gandalf
picture.
in
It's so
1995.
cute. I love it
So,
so
Yeah.
much.
It's not a surprise that I am not super into sports. So there's two things that make me a Cubs fan. One, they play in Wrigley Field,
It's
which is
beautiful. The most
super
beautiful
old
stadium
and
I've ever been
historical
to.
and gorgeous.
Incorrect.
Whereas the White Sox play in Guaranteed
Guaranteed
Rate
Rate
Field,
Field.
built in like
First of all, that's Sox
2009.
Park. Fuck yourselves.
No, if
and the-
anything, it's fucking Comiskey. Fight me.
Yeah, at best. it's
Comiskey was torn
Comiskey.
down. No, if anything, it's Sox Park. Comiskey was across the street.
It was never
Mm.
Sox Park. It was Comiskey, and then it was friggin' Guaranteed Rate Field. And
It's
here's
been a
the
couple
other
other.
thing,
It's also been U.S.
which
Cellular
honestly,
Field.
the
First
health
of all,
my
dude.
marriage is more.
You're from
important than-
Tennessee. Stop it, George.
That's fair. Oh, I lost my headphones.
Just come be a
Okay.
Dodgers fan with
That
me.
was-
It's a really great place
Listen,
to be right now.
listen. I know nothing of the Dodgers. I just know it's fun to say Dodgers,
Dodgers, yeah.
and I'm not doing
Here-
it right because I'm.
Here's the other
inebriated,
reason
not
I'm a
thinking.
Cubs fan. Here's the other reason I'm a Cubs fan.
Is it because of
my-
Henry Rowan Gardner?
Nope.
Because Hey Chicago, what do you say?
Hey,
is a
that song is a
banger.
bop. Hey Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are
Cubs are
gonna
gonna
win
win
today.
today.
Go Cubs, go!
For all of my friends and family who
Go
live around
Cubs
me,
go.
who
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. And
God, I
my
hate
wife
It's a
everything that is.
banger.
my wife is not a small portion of this, but I am also on board with it as well. Is it's a matter of mascots. The White Sox are friggin' White Sox, whereas like
Yeah.
the Cubs,
What, you don't have a foot fetish, George?
it's a baby bear. Listen, okay,
so
you guys don't
cute.
know my wife, but if we had the choice between like a random article of clothing
And a baby
and
bear.
a baby bear,
Duh.
we as the Youngs are gonna go with a baby bear.
Baby bear wins
Also,
100 times out of 100.
Also, it takes me about 15 to 20 minutes to get to the Cubs, and it takes
Wrigley.
me like Wrigley, thank you. And it takes me like 40 minutes to get to Guaranteed Rate Field. So also there's also
Oh, so wait, hold on. Let's back the fuck up, George.
Yep.
Miss Monsieur. I don't know how to say George in French.
Me either. Wait,
Damn it. George. I think it's just
oh, it's
George.
probably George.
It is George.
George.
Yeah.
George.
Monsieur
George.
George.
Probably sure.
Let us
Monsieur-
back up
Monsieur
a
Jean.
moment. Let us back up a moment. You know the fucking exact name of Sox Park, motherfucker, but you forgot Wrigley Field that has not changed its name since it was built.
Well, I like Wrigley Field,
It's so beautiful. Oh,
but
it's
listen,
not.
stunning.
here's
It
here's
is.
the-
Are you
No,
kidding me?
agreed.
The ivy? Are you shitting me?
yeah, right.
You put Ivy anywhere.
Here's the nuance.
Ugh,
I could
Here's
put
the
Ivy on
nuance
me.
you're missing here.
please
TJ.
do.
Here's the nuance you're
We
missing.
are not talking
that I-
about Lord of the Rings whatsoever now.
Yeah. Here's the nuance I feel like you're missing that as a nerd you should not be, is that like Wrigley Field, that's a good name for a field. It's not great, it's good. But Guaranteed Rate Field,
Are we gonna do this
Yeah.
thing where listen,
that is
listen,
How are we
Wrigley
gonna
Field,
how are we gonna
garbage.
segue
listen,
this?
listen, Wrigley Field. I know how to segue. Wrigley Field. This is my whole personality is knowing how to fucking get out of shit. Like from like one conversation to another, because like I
you
just
gonna
get.
Children are
segue us
yelling
back
at
to Lord
me.
of the Rings because
What's
I'm
that?
hoping somebody could.
What did you say, Jen?
I said my children, they're not actual children, they're cats. They're yelling at me because they
George,
want
first
to
of
be free
all-
because my sister is here and they love her.
Oh, fair. George,
Yes.
Guaranteed Rate Field is a terrible name for a baseball.
It
park.
is. It's
Agreed.
god awful.
But you know what else is? Being named after a fucking gum company.
No, but here's the nuance here. And
No,
nuance is
no
important.
nuance.
And I think we
No
should
nuance.
acknowledge it. Wrigley Field
I have
is
to
not
hydrate, boys
named
and girls.
after the gum company.
Mm-mm.
It is named
know it's
after
not.
specifically the very rich person who founded the gum company.
George, you're not even from Chicago. I guarantee you love deep dish, you
This
fucking
is
faker.
the same argument that my mom uses
I
when she
like
talks
deep
about
dish.
the clothing company Hollister because she's like, oh, Hollister is the armpit of California. I'm like, it's not named after the city of Hollister, California. It's named after a dude whose last name is Hollister. They have no relation.
Jen, this was an argument I had when I was grasping at straws with someone who knew sports far more than me, which isn't hard to find, by the way.
Also, is not me.
No, it isn't George.
I don't know sports. I like hot dogs and getting drunk. So, and Wrigley.
Oh damn, we should have all had hot dogs tonight. Let's turn back to Rings of Power, because we were talking about Rings of Power a little bit.
Can I
I don't know where we were in it, but
I know.
Let me
just interrupt? Getting into Rings of Power, can I make a slight? I made this post on Blue Sky and maybe Threads as well. If you're on Threads, please switch to Blue Sky. It's way better. But also, if you're on Twitter,
I have both.
Yeah,
if you have Twitter, burn Twitter.
Hey,
yeah.
Also, let's not dead name.
Listen, it's not a fucking dead name. It's not a real human being.
I know.
It's a fucking website, Jen.
That's true. I guess
I can understand for a fictional Elway. Nope, Elu Thingol. But
he's a
I still call it Twitter.
That's a corporation.
I can't do it for X.
Despite the Supreme
I did
Court
do
rulings,
it for X. Fuck.
Corporations are not people. Anyway,
also, fucking Elon Musk. I'm gonna
just
have to cut
as
that
an
out.
aside for.
No, I'm gonna leave it in. I don't give a
Leave
fuck.
it
Leaving it in. Fuck Elon Musk.
As an aside, I posted this on Blue Sky the other day. That I just like to talk about because I feel like it's missing.
George, hold on. Why are you putting the Lions mane up?
What?
Why are you putting the Lion's mane up?
Because he's getting serious.
Because it's getting serious. Also, I'm getting a little hot. So
George just put his hair up. George has luscious locks for those who are not watching. And he's getting
They are
heated.
quite luscious.
So he put his hair up.
It'll come down.
It would mingle with his wife's hair in the wind, much like Faramir and Eowyn's hair mingles in the wind in Return of the King.
This is true.
Jen, I'm gonna have to put Faramir in my fucking drinking game if you don't calm down.
I mean,
I
feel like we're all
never
gonna die of alcohol
down.
poisoning, but I also feel like you should.
He's going in there.
I feel like some things are worth death, and that's probably it. Faramir.
Okay, continue, George.
So a slight aside that I've been thinking about, and I posted about this the other day, is I feel like a conversation that's missing from Tolkien circles that I talked about a little bit with Faramir, which is the difference between like, this is a bad adaptation and this is a bad movie or a bad piece of art.
Okay. I don't like that last thing you said. I don't like that.
There is no such thing as a bad piece of art.
I love that.
Why.
I love that take for sure.
Yeah,
my favorite example.
There's something for everybody.
Unless it's made by AI, and then it's not really
if it's made by humans, it's good. Agreed.
Oh God, I hate that we have to have that fucking caveat.
Yeah, my favorite example of this is the 2002 adaptation of Count of Monte Cristo with Jim Caviezel.
Oh, it's incredible.
It is such a good movie. Do you know what else it also is?
Not a good adaptation.
The worst adaptation in history.
I don't care.
For those who aren't watching, George's face got right the fuck up to his camera.
Jim Caviezel as Edmond Dantes is and fucking what's Luis Guzman as Jacopo.
Luis Guzman is one of the best. Oh, Jacopo is amazing. But let me run you through the novel.
Henry Cavill, that was the first thing I ever saw. Henry Cavill.
What is Henry Cavill in that?
He is Edmund and what's her Mercedes' son.
He's the kid?
Yeah, he's the kid.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it even more. I'm a huge Henry Cavill fan. That's probably a different thing.
You
probably
should get him on this podcast, TJ.
How the hell am I going to get Henry Cavill on here?
We'll just tweet at him. Or not tweet at We'll blue sky at him a whole bunch.
Yeah,
we'll thread him. We'll show him some sky.
So let me run you through. Okay, so the Count of Monte Cristo novel is largely about like
a sandwich.
Yes,
the sandwich. I'm done talking.
No, I'm sorry, George. I'm sorry, man.
No, but like the novel is about like the trappings of revenge, and it starts out, it like shows you how good revenge can feel, and then like the main character realizes, oh, it's destroying everything, and he does like manage to save himself, and it ends fairly happily. But like the novel is about how seeking after revenge will destroy you. The 2002 movie adaptation of Count of Monte Cristo.
Ooh, can I guess?
Yeah.
Is it how revenge is amazing?
Yeah, it's a great revenge fantasy. And then at the last freaking minute, Jim Caviezel is like, you know what? You're right, Henry Cavill. I think that seeking after this is bad for me. I shouldn't do it. At which point, the chief antagonist comes up and says, "Oh no, you're not getting away with this. We're dueling to the death right now." So he gets to kill him and finish his revenge, marry the woman that he lost at the beginning of the novel, and run away with his son and his wife. Perfect happy ending. Revenge is great. That movie is an amazing movie and a horrible adaptation. And I feel like that's something that's completely lacking in Tolkien circles, which is why I like to bring that up when I'm talking about movie Faramir. Because like book Faramir is objectively better. But if you remove a tall ask, I recognize. If you remove the books and pretend like Peter Jackson and Philippa Boyens came up with this stuff off the top of their heads, movie Faramir is amazing and perfect and one of my favorite characters ever in anything. Book Faramir is better, but we're just pretending it doesn't exist. So, like,
if we completely separate,
yes. So I feel like that's an important thing to acknowledge. That
is actually a really good point, George.
If we pretend that they didn't win Academy Award for Best Adaptation,
right?
Fuck, Jen. Yeah. That's also a really good point too.
That is a great point. But but
truthfully, what George is saying makes a lot of sense, and it's honestly
it's fair.
The hardest thing for me, to be okay with, because
so hard. Agreed.
All I can do, and it's my fault because it's not my fault. I can't help what my brain does, but I'm a huge fan of reading books that are being or have been adapted.
Agreed. My imagination.
But I've noticed with myself that if I read the book first and then see the film, my judgment is clouded. If I watch the film first and then I read the book, then I go, oh damn, I still love that film, but
what's your
I will say, I will say more for myself. I am so unpicky about adaptations.
Oh, I'm the opposite. I'm the worst.
If I've read the book, I love that. Like I read Ready Player One before I saw the movie. Absolutely love the movie. Love the books. Also, the audiobook is Will Wheaton.
Interesting.
Ooh, also, Will Wheaton.
Chef's
so
kiss
good.
to Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
I don't know anything about the rest of that, but
many chef's kiss. Will Wheaton.
There's not even a mention that.
I really love the Shadow and Bone series. That was unfortunately canceled by Netflix after only 2 seasons. And
that's so on brand for Netflix.
It is so on brand for Netflix, and the show is an incredible adaptation. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about what I think is one of the best adaptations of all time, Princess Bride.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. I also have not gotten around to reading the book, so I probably should.
The book is amazing. You should read it immediately.
I should. Okay.
Also, I would also be remiss if I didn't talk about one of my other favorite adaptations.
Oh, that's the Neverending Story.
Holes. Hello. Holes is like one of the best.
Princess Bride.
I've seen the movie once as a kid.
It's great. Nice. I have multiple copies of Princess Bride.
We don't have time to get into it right now, but I will talk about. I will just mention to maybe talk about later on. A lot of people are angry about how much the Netflix series butchered the Witcher series.
I never played Witcher.
I will personally say that a large portion of the butchering I was largely in favor of, because I read the whole series.
Fair.
Yeah,
last year. And I loved the short stories, and I loved the first 3 books. The 4th book, didn't love. The 5th book, I friggin' hated.
Did you finish it?
I did finish it.
Why?
I did not read the prequel book that he wrote later that was like later on, but I hate it when people are so mad about the Netflix series, and like the main change the Netflix series made is giving any of the women characters any agency at all whatsoever. Every woman that shows up in those books is like, I boobily bounced around, and then I was like, even the 13-year-old girl
breasting boobily down the hall.
and one of the main characters is a 13-year-old girl. And the author is so interested in what
very
she's
George
feeling.
R.R. Martin of them.
Yeah, it's real gross. And the Netflix does a really good job of making her like strong and young and learning.
I mean, I think the games do as well.
The games do a pretty good job as well. Honestly, I love the Witcher world, and everyone except the original author does a great job.
I feel like most of the complaints that I've seen about the Witcher series have been from people who love the games more than people who love the books.
Yeah, because like the whole like complaints about Yennefer in the books, Yennefer is imprisoned for most of them. So like all of the additions are just giving her any agency at all.
I think for me, the reason that I bring up that I'm not super picky about my adaptations.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I generally tend to like adaptations because I might have mentioned this in the previous episode that I was on. My previous stint on Tolkien on Tap. I'm just not a very visual, like my visual imagination is not very strong.
Girl, same.
Oh yeah, we did talk about this.
Like that's one of the reasons that I love like Lord of the Rings is because, and like one of the reasons that I didn't read the books before I saw the movies was because we had the covers from the 80s where the cover of The Hobbit has the most terrifying version of Gollum ever.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And the Two Towers is like the most boring
it's the most
ever.
It's a fucking romance novel of Legolas and Gimli. Nope, not those.
No, I know. These are my copies.
I like
those are the ones that I grew up on. Oh my god,
those are illustrated by Tolkien.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
these are the ones my mom
I grew up on.
Gifted me.
The ones that I grew up with.
George.
Oh my god.
Oh George. Oh George. I also have the Hobbit in the same.
I have that Hobbit.
Becky Young read those to me in like 1993.
Oh, by the way, that's another. When George is on, if Becky Young is mentioned, we drink.
Becky Young.
Becky Young.
That's my mom, by the way.
That was my Tolkien.
Like, so my I was definitely a judge a book by its cover kind of person. And the covers of the books technically they were my brother's. Now they're mine because my brother sold out and married a non-nerd and isn't a nerd.
Oh,
gross. Rude. I'm sorry, Chris. I love you so much, but
we love you, Chris, but gross. Make better
choices. Chris, as a non-nerd, will listen to this?
No, because I drink on it, so he won't.
Fair.
That's my family too. Yeah.
But anyway, so
I come from
I
a family of degenerates.
I didn't read the books because I was definitely a judge a book by its cover person.
Yeah.
And I regret that very much. But for me, the movies were huge because they helped me like really visualize things that otherwise there's no way in hell I would visualize. Like I just like unless it comes from my own imagination, like, and even when it does come from my own imagination, I have a hard time like really visualizing things physically in my mind.
No, I agree with that. I love that so much. Like I
don't picture faces, I don't picture places, I don't.
Same.
100%.
However, when they talk about fell beasts having like beaks and shit, and we get like a fucking dragon, that's weird to me. Well, there's certain things that like pop out to me, and then like most of the other stuff just doesn't. But like in the books, like Tolkien talks about how fell beasts have like these beaks, like they're fucking pterodactyls. They're dinosaurs. The Nazgul are flying around on dinosaurs. And then it's a dragon just because
so Middle Earth is Chult, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Shout out to my D&D nerds.
I don't know what that is, but yes.
I'm not D&D enough to know what that means.
Chult is the place in D&D lore where dinosaurs exist.
Love it.
Oh.
That we touch on one of my tiny but petty moments where I love the movies better than the books.
I'm so excited to hear what you're going to say because I have something to say about this too.
So in the movies, we are introduced to the fact that the Nazgul, who previously were riding around on regular ass horses,
black horses stolen from
black
Rohan.
horses, they were black.
Bro, you got black horses?
We are introduced to the fact that in the movies,
we're going to steal them, but only the black ones.
Yeah.
We are introduced to the fact that they now have flying steeds, partially by over the dead marshes. They terrify Frodo and Sam. And then also the maybe one redeeming thing about it, in Osgiliath, they show up and are terrifying. Just to remind the listeners at home.
You're talking just about the movie, okay.
Yes, I'm talking about the movie. To remind the listeners at home what happens with the Nazgul getting flying beasts in the books is that
Legolas one-shots one of them in the dark, which is dope.
Which is cool.
But doesn't work
better than the
film.
goddamn horse thing.
No.
It doesn't work on film.
If we knew what was happening, but in the dark, Legolas shoots a thing, and then later on, Gandalf explains that, oh, that was a Nazgul, and they have crazy flying beasts now, which is like very anticlimactic.
I gotta say, Sauron. Why are you sending these motherfuckers out on horses if you got these flying?
Yeah, right. Like you have these beasts. Why were they on horses?
I imagine that the fell beasts were very difficult to train, so there weren't very many of them.
They weren't ready yet.
I mean, there's at least 9.
Here's the thing. As a neurodivergent person, here's the thing that I deeply love about the Lord of the Rings trilogy as a whole is like, obviously, I don't know. I feel a little gross about like diagnosing people in the past, but also like if you look at the structure of the Lord of the Rings from like an objective, like, oh, this is how books should be structured, it's insane. They spend 1/6 of the entire journey just getting out of their home. And then a bunch of insane stuff happens. And then we hit like record speed and a bunch of insane stuff happens every single chapter.
I feel like
I'm not saying Tolkien was autistic, but
I feel
like you're underselling how long it takes for Frodo to leave.
Yes.
17 fucking years.
17 years.
And then the journey is 13 months.
Yes,
17 years, 13 months. I'm pretty sure I think you mean 5/6 of the story is them trying to is them not leaving their home.
And that is one thing I will say they did well in the movie.
Yeah, as a like almost 40-year-old person with ADD, like I connect so much with the whole world of the Lord of the Rings because of the structure of the entire books, which is like 1/6 is like getting out of your house, and then the next 2/6 is like getting through the first bit of the journey, and then the next 2/3 is like the big part of like doing it. You know, like it is. Like Lord of the Rings to me is structured so much like how my brain is.
I totally missed the math you were doing. For those who don't know, because I just got it, like because I'm a fucking idiot sometimes.
No, Tolkien, you're not. Don't disparage yourself.
Do not fucking do that.
Thank you, Jen and George.
Don't be mean to my friend TJ.
Don't be mean to my friend TJ. They are fantastic.
Thank you. What George means is, technically it is one book, but it is split up into 3 that were published at a time, but technically it's 6 books in 3 volumes that make up one single book.
It's that joke of how many like it's the joke of the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire question, how many books make up Lord of the Rings?
Ooh.
And the
Yeah.
answers are like 3, 6, 1. I don't
Yeah.
remember what the fourth one is, but it's just like, and the guy's like
Jen's
sweating.
yeah, Jen's making
Like,
a like
Could be
holy
any of
shit
these.
face.
you know, it's like that meme, but
So
yeah.
George is saying the first 1/6 of
The
the journey,
first book
which is the
of
first
the
book,
Fellowship of
Book
the
one.
Ring,
which
book
is book one,
one.
which is what was that one called, by the way?
He
Is
doesn't,
that
he doesn't give names to him, does he?
no, he does. He's got
He
a
does.
He doesn't in the
because there's
text though.
the ring goes east, the ring goes south. The ring goes
The Ring
east.
Goes South is the
The
first
ring
chapter of
actually I
book
think it's the ring
2.
goes east. I think the first one's the ring goes east. The second one is the ring
Uh,
goes south because that's when the fellowship leaves.
This
And
is
then it's
all news
Treason
to
of
me.
Isengard. Oh, my
There's balloons
damn
happening right now. What's
I know
happening?
it's because I did the peace sign on my MacBook
The
Pro.
ring
What?
sets out.
I'm on a
Oh, it's
MacBook
the ring
Pro.
sets
It
out.
doesn't.
And then
The
the ring
ring goes
south.
south.
And then the
The
Treason of
treason of
Isengard.
Isengard. The ring goes east.
The ring goes.
The
That's what it
war,
is.
the War of the Ring, and the end of the Third Age.
There we go. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate you for doing that.
I got you.
Amazing.
So what
Okay,
what they're
I need to
saying
go
is
to my
the
hobbit hole
ring
again.
goes out
The ring sets out.
or
Be
sets
right
out.
back.
Thank you.
The first journey / Return of the Shadow.
Oh, that would be the Return of the
Yeah.
Shadow is the sequel to Return of the King.
Return of the Shadow is
Oh.
also the name of the History of Middle Earth volume that starts the history of Lord of the Rings.
I think that's one that talks about the sequel to Lord of the Rings that Tolkien said, "Nah, it's too dark. I'm done."
And go. I just think like Lord of the Rings musical had this gargantuan Herculean task of taking 6 books, 3 books, 1 book, and translating it into basically a 3-hour musical.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they did a great job with it. There are some things that they did that I think were really interesting choices. There are some things that I think were good choices. And it's interesting because us having talked earlier about kind of the juxtaposition of Theoden and Denethor, they actually combine Theoden and Denethor in the musical, and they are one person.
Really?
Oh, I'm so
They
interested.
combine, they also combine like Rohan and Gondor are just like the kingdom of men effectively.
Mm-hmm.
And like the Battle of Helm's Deep and the Battle of Minas Tirith are combined into one. Like I'm spoiling the musical like crazy, but
Yeah, sure.
also the chances
dare
that they'll do another run are kind of slim at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Also, let me throw in as an aside. I mean, he also had a lot of bad takes, but in his letters, Tolkien talks about like what would be good and bad adaptations. And one of the things that he says is if you don't have the space to do it, if you want to do a big battle, the Battle of Pelennor is way more important. So just cut
Helm's Deep
altogether if you need to.
Yep. And I
Good.
think for me personally, one of the reasons that I loved the musical so much is that it felt so, I mean, one of the things that we really lose in the Peter Jackson films, and we also kind of lose in the Rings of Power, is like how much fucking singing there is. Like there's
Yes.
so much music in The Lord of the Rings.
Oh my
There's
God,
so
as
much
a
music in The
musician, yeah, I'm
Hobbit.
so glad you said that.
Like there's so much music, and so like having this musical where like everything is put to music felt so Tolkienian. Like it just like it felt like while there were big changes made, it felt so like true to like the heart of Tolkien, and it felt like the heart, it got the heart right, in my opinion. Like,
Oh, I
and the
love
thing that
that.
was crazy is just like for these, I think one of the things also is like all of these people who were in the Lord of the Rings musical, like you have to be like basically like a quadruple threat. Like, you don't just act, you don't just sing, you also have to play an instrument while singing and dancing. And it's just like the people who like Mary and Pippin in particular were so impressive. Like the guy who played
Oh, it's
Mary,
amazing.
the guy who played Mary literally played the cello,
The
had
cello?
like
The cello? Yeah.
a hook that
True.
would go around his neck to hold his cello, or maybe that was Pippin. I can't remember.
Well,
I'll have to double
regardless
check.
of which
I don't
character.
But
care.
one
Yeah,
of
what?
the two, Mary or
Interesting.
Pippin, because one of them was played by a woman named Eileen Doan, and she was amazing. And she played like the banjo
I
and the
already
mandolin.
love her.
She played like a bunch of different instruments.
Oh, I got those
I think
behind me right now.
I feel like
I'm not
she was
kidding you,
Pippin.
George.
I can't remember. But anyway, the guy who played either Mary or Pippin, I'll have to double check, like played the cello, had a thing that went around his neck, and was like full on like dancing and jigging while playing the cello and singing. And I'm like,
That
this is the most Tolkien shit I've ever seen in my life.
I wasn't kidding,
Yes.
George. I have
Nice.
a banjo. I have
You
a
have a
mandolin
banjo?
behind me too, and a violin,
Nice.
and
Oh my
like
god. I have
So you could
58
play, you could
guitars.
be in the Lord of the Rings
You-
musical.
you have how many
I
guitars?
actually learned how to play this banjo because my director in high school, my theater director in high school, came up to me during dress rehearsal for the play that was going on and was like, "Hey, do you know how to play banjo?" And I was like, "Yes," even though I didn't. I just knew I had one because this is my grandfather's banjo that was given to my dad and
Amazing.
has been
Cool.
given to me since. So I was like, "Of course I know how to play," knowing full well I didn't. And he goes, "Okay, cool. We're gonna do Tom Sawyer, and I need you to still audition, but you've got a part. I just need you to play the banjo." And I went home and I taught myself how to play a couple of things on the banjo,
Dope.
and that was it.
I
have
love
no
that
idea
so
how to
much.
play this instrument to this day.
I love that so much because I have similar things. Is like I have to my left immediately. I have a guitar, which I know how to play like intimately. I am not to be like. "Ugh."
I
I
do
am
not.
a good guitar player. I also have a classical guitar, which I am moderate to decent at. And I also, in the apartment
Nice.
somewhere, have a bass and a ukulele and a
Nice.
mandolin, which I am decent at. And I
George, when we're done recording, I'm gonna take my green screen off. I'm gonna show you my instruments.
do it, and then also
I
sober up and just drive up here and let's jam.
Yeah, tonight.
I
Yeah,
want to
let me
be
just
part.
sober
I
up
want to
and-
be. I just want to be
You're also
like
welcome
a
too,
fly
but
on the
he's
wall for the
there
jam
closer than
session
you are.
because I cannot. I can't. I tried to learn the guitar, and my problem is that it requires a certain amount of callus on the fingers, and because I
Nope,
have
nope. That's not how it
well,
works.
for me,
That's not how it works. Nope.
for
That's
me,
still not how it works.
Go ahead.
I have severe dermatillomania. If you've been
Oh,
paying
that's
attention to
different.
the video,
That's different.
I pick
sure.
at my skin and my fingers in particular a lot. And so when I start to get like any sort of like skin callousing, I just pick it off and then I bleed and
Okay,
then
so that's different. I thought you were going in a different direction.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought you were going in the direction of like it requires calluses and it hurts too bad to get to that point.
yeah.
I didn't realize you were gonna go with it takes calluses, and I just picked them the fuck
and
up.
I just
Yeah.
rip them off and then I
Yeah,
bleed
yeah.
and yeah.
Did not
So
think it was
I
going that direction.
I
So I
cannot
apologize because like I
sadly
just
no, you're
assumed
good.
what the fuck was
The
I
happening.
difference
cannot be a
there-
trollalolly elf
Yeah.
despite
The-
my strong desire to be.
Yes,
I
you
can only
can.
sing.
Yes, you
I
can.
can
Yes,
sing.
no,
I can
no,
sing.
no,
I
Jen.
can
Yes,
sing.
you can. Harps do not require calluses,
That is true.
I
And to
can
say,
sing.
the
So we got
difference,
that.
but
the
also harps
difference
don't require
there
calluses,
is also
Mhm.
like
and you can
to-
sing too.
to balance out that need versus just playing the guitar. Because it's like, yes, I totally get the like picking. I don't know.
I've been sitting here ripping skin off my index finger for like the last 3 hours.
I actually watched
Sure.
you like bite your thumb. It
Yeah.
looked like you're gonna bite your whole thumb, like you were hungry.
So I guess the balance is like I've had too many alcohols to come up with the correct word. But like there's a word for like, what makes you bite your skin versus what makes you play guitar. And just like, I don't know, if you can balance those two things.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass and you have a thing that's a problem for this, and I should shut the fuck up.
Georgie, I love that you like. So last episode, you were much more subdued. In this episode, you're like, "Fuck it, I'm going all out. I'm getting fucking
I love
wasted."
that because I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, what did I even say in that last episode?
Jen has been the same way because Jen was pretty subdued last episode. Though
Yeah.
we did have 4 people. I mean, me and 3 other people.
Yeah.
Which is a
I
little bit
also
harder.
am definitely much more intoxicated than I
That's
was.
true. Because like last time it was,
but it's also harder with like, because like having one extra person, like you have to wait a little bit longer to talk, and
it does make a difference for sure.
Yeah, because last time it was 2 people I did not know, and I was like nervous about it. Whereas like here, it's like the 2 of y'all who
we
like
all friends.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing is that's one of the barriers I want to break down. Is it doesn't matter who the fuck we know. It matters what we love. That's one of the barriers I want to break down.
Of all the
I
Tolkien,
felt that with Lee and New Beta, and Don.
New Beta's so cool. I've never
cool
interacted with him.
Oh, I'm doing his podcast on Tuesday.
But I love him so much, and I want.
I'm doing Voices of Art podcast on Tuesday.
Oh,
I'm super excited.
The Voice of Art, that's so cool.
So cool.
But like,
I don't think you guys understand that anybody who's on here, I will fucking like go to bat for in every single thing. So I just almost fell off my own desk.
Do like a Tolkien specific music thing for Voices of Art? Do I need to do like a Tolkien specific music?
We'll make a fucking song, the 2 of us.
Yeah,
Georgie.
So I will tell you. I will tell you. The only reason that New Beta knows who I am is because of TikTok.
Okay.
And I don't do TikTok, which I feel like is like
I don't think you can even get TikTok now.
I can't.
If you don't have it on your phone, you're kind of fucked.
Oh yeah,
I know, but I'm
like
just saying,
weirdness with like if you didn't already have
this
it,
is ironic for me saying this as the youngest person in this current conglomeration of humans.
Sure.
I am fucking too old to learn fucking new technology. I have tried so hard to get into TikTok and I can't do it.
Jen,
I'm sad because I know Tolkien Talk is like this amazing community, and I'm like, I'm just gonna stick to my old Discord.
It is, but the conjunction of Tolkien Talk and Threads combined for me has been amazing.
Yeah,
that's how I met you too, but also through TikTok I met David. Actually, it was Threads I met David. Lee actually started talking to me first on Threads, like interacting with me. Threads actually was like my in for things.
Yeah, same for me.
Making videos was where like the big Tolkien creators actually saw me. Like Max knows who I am. Don knows who I am. Don knows who I am because I know who New Beta is. New Beta knows me through TikTok. So it was a conjunction of, for me, it was a conjunction of, but the thing is, I don't like personally the big creator thing versus the small creator thing. Or, like I'm just here. Like I want us all to be able to interact and like be able to be friendly. We have to be friends, but like be friendly with each other.
That seems the attitude across the board because like both Donna and Max are fairly like, oh hey, whatever, what the fuck you got going on? Great. Like
both of them came into my live the night that fucking TikTok was gonna go dark.
Oh, I love that so much. I've never interacted with Don much.
Well, so let me tell you what happened.
Let me tell you.
So Max came in and was like, you know, he's really laid back. He was like, hey guys, you know, I just hopping in and say, hey, he goes, oh, that's TJ. I've seen your shit. You're funny. Thanks. Hey guys, I'm just coming to say hey. Later, guys. Because you know, Max is really unassuming, right? Don comes in. Sure. Don comes in. Don's like, hey guys, so how you doing? Oh, and we're talking, and he goes, and because like he's like, I'm kind of big. Don's bigger personality than I am.
Sure.
And I have a big personality, I've been told. But like we're talking, and
really,
I have a big personality, is what I've been told.
Did you? Not me. I'm very quiet and timid.
I didn't realize how loud that was going to be, and now I feel really bad because
I think it was amazing. It was perfect.
Okay, good.
It's perfect.
So
his charisma score is off the charts.
Yeah, and also he's got
like a plus 20 to all of his charisma rolls. And then like I start saying something, he goes, hold on. He like interrupted me. He goes, hold on, are you Neej? And I was like, yeah. He goes, I love your work. I'm following you right now. And I was like,
Don said that to you?
In my own live.
I am I am fangirling so hard right now. Like,
And
it's
so
so stupid.
Don's hopped into 2 other of my lives just to hang out with me.
The only other
He's an amazing human being.
The only other direct interaction I've had is like on one of my like when I was doing like sort of what introduced me to like Tolkien online shit was doing like the like movie improvements. Like I did a bunch of things on threads about like here's what I think is a movie improvement. And it was really more just like here's a gimmicky way I can talk about Tolkien.
That's how we
And they,
evolve. Figured out
That's
how to
how we
get out there.
evolve. Yep.
but like one
We've all
single
used it, man.
time.
Don't be ashamed by that.
One single time, some guy, and I don't like to arbitrarily gender people on the internet, but I always know if somebody's a certain level of like argumentative, like you're a male. Some guy was like,
so
yeah, but
true.
where in the books does he say why they shouldn't take the Eagles to Mordor?
Oh, fuck that shit.
Oh my god, I hate that
And so
fucking argument.
finally,
Oh,
like he went
fucking
back
hell.
and forth, and I was
In
like,
the fucking Council of Elrond,
Yeah.
bitch.
and I was
Read
like,
it.
I mean, there's no explicit moment in the books where they say, here is why, but here are all the reasons. If you have any further questions, please refer to his TikToks. Please refer to Don Marshall's TikToks. And like, and it finally shut that guy up because he was like, we were like 6 responses in to this guy being
fuck.
like,
I give up.
oh, but why
I give
didn't
up
they
after
take the
one.
Eagles? I just poked myself in the arse so hard. You're like, why didn't they take the Eagles to Mordor? And I was like, I don't.
Fucking so many reasons. And many of them are outlined explicitly in the Council of fucking Elrond.
And it's so funny that you just brought this up today, George, because I just happened, I cannot scroll that much at work. And I just happened to have a minute and I was scrolling at work and Don, I think it was from last year though, posted his thing and he had 3 points, but he didn't bring up the Eagles aren't a fucking taxi service. They work for Manway and they don't give a fuck about what's going on.
They also are their own individual beings who have their own fucking shit to deal with.
Yeah. Also,
they are fucking fully like like you said, they're not a fucking taxi service.
Yeah. Also, this
is gonna ruffle my feathers, so to speak.
Right? And this
nice, Jen.
This one is in the most recent Don post, but also the Eagles are specific, like actual beings.
Yeah.
Ergo, they are susceptible to the temptations of the ring.
Well,
so just giving them the ring doesn't fix it, because then you have a being who is not necessarily evil, but is birdish and eagly and terrible as the dawn. And instead of a dark lord, you would have a pretty bird. Like
Gwaihir, the Dark Wind Lord.
Yep.
Yeah. Like that's the whole friggin' point of the story.
Yeah. Thank you both so much for being here. I really appreciate you. Jen, where can people find you if they want to keep talking with you about any Lord of the Rings content?
You can find me on Threads at Elvish_Groves, as well as Twitch. I stream Lord of the Rings online on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can also find me on Blue Sky at Elvish-Groves and Instagram and all those other fun places.
Perfect. George, where can people find you?
So you can find me on Blue Sky and Threads, and also Instagram and theoretically TikTok, but haven't done much yet. But you can find me at George and Such on any of those platforms, but I mostly am on Blue Sky and Threads at the moment. Hoping to be on TikTok, but we'll see.
Well, thank you both very much.
TBD.
To be determined.
TBD.
Well, thank you very much, both. I can't say words. It's been
what are you drunk?
It's been an evening.
It's been
sober.
Yeah, it's been an evening for sure. Anyways, thank you both for being here. I really appreciate you both. Have a good night.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Before we leave today, I would like to plug a friend who has been on the podcast before, Elise Trudell Cedeno. She was in the 2 episodes titled Of the Meat episode. She runs her own podcast called Teaching with Magic. She has her own episode dedicated to adaptations with Dr. Maggie Park of Signum University. It was released December 16th, 2024. I highly recommend everyone go listen to those for a different perspective and a much more sober and well put together thought on adaptations. That is Teaching with Magic. The episode title is The Core of the Original. Thank you. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Tolkien on Tap. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow me on any of my social medias. I'm on Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok at @the_Neej. Namarie.